Fatherpreneur, welcome to another episode of the Heroic Father Podcast. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about raising champions with my main man, John Blas. John, how you doing, brother?
Doing well. Good morning. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm living the dream over here, man. I'm really excited to dive deep on this conversation with you, man. You have a really unique story. We met not too long ago, and just learning more about yourself and then how you started, where you came from, where you are now. I was intrigued. I was like, I got to get this guy on the podcast. So again, John, thank you so much for being on.
Of course, man. It's my pleasure. And I really appreciate the invite. I love sharing my story. And, if I can give any piece of advice or help any other fathers out or just anyone in general, I don't mind.
Beautiful. That's what I love. I think just you telling your story is exactly the wisdom in it is exactly what we're looking for, right? We always say that the world is starving for wisdom. And John, you got a lot of it, brother. So just tell us about yourself, John.
So 36-year-olds right now, born and raised in San Diego, have two kids. My daughter, Natalia, she's 16, and my son, Santino, he's 15. They both currently go to Eastlake High School. Right now, I'm a real estate agent. Before that, I had quite a few jobs, as people would say, but those jobs led me to where I'm at right now, and I can't complain. Grew up in South Bay, played sports my whole life, grew up playing soccer, did a little bit of football, did a lot of kickboxing, a lot of mixed martial arts growing up as well. And I love to hike, play golf, and hang out with friends and family.
John, you said that you're 36 and you have a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old. What the hell, man? You were a kid having kids. How old were you? I mean, I'm not doing the math, but
yeah. So me and Christina, we had our first child, 18 turning 19, and then 19 turning 20.
My gosh, what was that like? Do you remember the moment of when you found out?
I do. We were at Del Mar Fair, and funny story. So we're at Del Mar Fair, and she's like, I think I'm pregnant. I was like, okay. Like, we didn't do much of it.
Yeah.
It sounds crazy. So then we bought our tickets, went on a ride, and literally the first little Ferris wheel or roller coaster, whichever one we were on, she was, I'm sick. I don't feel good.
Mm.
And I was like, are you okay? She was, no, I don't feel good. I'm sick. She was, I really think I'm pregnant. I was like, oh man. So we literally asked for a refund, returned our tickets because we bought tickets for the whole day.
Yeah.
And we went to, I think it was CVS, and bought a home pregnancy test, and yep, she was pregnant.
Oh my gosh. So what was the reaction of when you found out?
It was crazy. We were excited.
Uh-huh.
Like that saying, young and dumb. We were literally young and dumb. But we were excited. My parents weren't excited at all.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then what about her parents?
Her mom was excited.
Wow.
Her parents aren't together. Her stepdad didn't care too much, but yeah, her mom was more excited than my parents.
And then what did your parents think? Like, did they have a conversation amongst each other about, okay, what the hell do we do? How to go about caring for these kids who are having a kid, or how did that come?
They really didn't talk to me that much about it. The reason being is my parents had me at a young age, same age.
Gotcha.
So my mom was 18, my dad was 20. And from there, they just figured it out. Yeah. And when I let my parents know, I was excited. Like, hey, you guys are great grandparents. And they were like, are you serious? We're literally in our late 30s, early 40s, and we're going to be grandparents.
Oh my gosh.
And so I understand now why they were disappointed, is because they wanted, I don't want to say more for me, but they actually wanted me to experience life before, having kids and settling down and, becoming a parent at a young age. So me being older, I get it now.
Do you feel like you missed out?
Yes and no. So no, because I still hung out with my friends. We still went camping. We did a little bit of traveling, locally. Mm-hmm. I was able to work, buy property at a young age from the job I had. So we still lived life to the fullest as far as, our dollar led us. The only thing we didn't do was build a strong foundation as far as relationship wise. And then we didn't travel outside of the United States how we wanted to. So that's a part we didn't miss out, or we did miss out on.
Gotcha. Okay. So more of, again, you got to spend time with your buddies, still doing the things that you wanted to do, at least at that time. However, your connection with Christina wasn't Christina, correct?
Correct.
Wasn't what you wanted to be or what you thought it could be.
Correct. Yeah. So, at a young age, we didn't understand that the children came into our lives.
Mhm.
So we put the children first. So building that strong foundation, that every couple should do when raising kids,
Yeah.
and understanding that, hey, my significant other comes before these children, it wasn't there. And those conversations from anyone either older or in the same situation as us, we never had it from them. So we went in blind.
Brother, that is such an important piece in people's relationship when having kids, is the understanding that, like what you said, your kids came into your life, right? And
Yep.
then there's supposed to be a strong bond and connection. And it's always your significant other comes first and then the kids. Or what was the mindset, like you thinking about that now? What is your philosophy or thought process behind that?
Whenever I hear some of my friends having kids now, or I meet someone that's a younger couple and they have kids, I tell them, if I can give you any piece of advice,
Yeah.
there's two things I want to tell you. One is the number one gift you can give your children is loving their mother, or vice versa, loving their father, is just unconditionally, because they're going to see that. And then number two is never stop dating your significant other.
Wow.
Like, these children come second. I don't care what anybody says. Our job as parents, from what I learned and what I agree with, is we're there to raise them and literally ship them out when they're done. And we do the best job we can, because in the end, it's going to be your significant other. You're not going to retire with your children. You're not going to, go to school with your children in college and hold their hand. Like, you literally raise them so they can have more children and life continues.
So that's an interesting topic then. Okay. So the idea is you guys are co-parenting now, correct? You guys are not together.
Correct.
So how does that mindset play into your guys' relationship now?
So we have a unique situation. We have, so raising kids for the last 15, 16 years and putting the kids first, it took a toll on our relationship. She did her thing, I did my thing. We didn't build that strong foundation. When we decided to separate and get a divorce, things actually got a lot better. The stress of having to worry about what she said, or her worrying about what I had said, or, me being grumpy, or, the communication wasn't there. All of that took a toll. But now we co-parent really well. So we understand that, we agree that once we put the children first and not ourselves, then it made life a lot more simple. We communicate a lot better. That stress isn't there. And we actually have some friends, actually our son's friends, his parents are also divorced, but they co-parent really well. And they give us the advice like, hey, you put the children first, and then you guys will be able to do a lot more family things together. Because, not every relationship works out.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean you're wrong, doesn't mean she was wrong, doesn't mean you're a bad person, they're a bad person at all.
Yeah, I heard so Wayne Dyer used to be like I used to follow him when he was still alive. I read all of his books. And he would always, whether he's coaching or counseling people in a relationship, and people are going through a little bit of heartache or challenging times in the relationship, and they go through a breakup. And his question was always that, who taught you that this relationship was supposed to last forever? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just really understanding that, again, when you're co-parenting, I can imagine those two kids came into your life. So how long did it take for you and Christina to be able to get on that level though?
It didn't take that long.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, I don't want to say our relationship was toxic. We didn't build a strong foundation. So we joked a lot, like, hey, if we ever, split up, things weren't going well, we still want to be good friends and put the kids first.
Yeah.
And we saw my son's friends, parents do the same thing. So we're like, hey, we always want to be that couple if anything were to happen. So we were still in that mentality and mindset of, if we were to break up, which I recommend, don't never, ever do that. So when the time finally came, I took my time to heal, get rid of the resentment. I would say about a good 6 to 7 months afterwards. I was like, okay, we can hang out on holidays. You can come over for Mother's Day. You know, you can have the kids on this day, even though it's my day. So it took about, yeah, good 6, 7 months.
Wow, that's even really quick though, man. So you guys definitely had the open mind and understanding, a strong foundation. Kids are first.
Yes.
Then beautiful. Um, you're 36, man. Are you involved in a relationship right now?
No.
Okay, what's it like dating with teenage kids?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Um, it can be easy and it can be difficult.
Yeah.
So easy because since my kids are a lot older, I can that, hey, I'm going out, I'll be back.
Yeah.
They ask sometimes, they joke like, oh, are you going on a date? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And if I was going on a date, I don't tell them because it's probably not serious. And I told them like, hey, if I ever do start dating and it becomes serious, then I'll let you know.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, you guys don't need to know what I'm doing. I'm the parent, not you.
Yeah.
And so that's the easy part. The difficult part is trying to find someone that has either older kids or no kids or doesn't want kids, because I don't want kids anymore. I'm
Okay.
I'm a lot older. My kids are already, 15, 16 years old. And for me to start all over again and do the diapers, that's a tough decision. I'll miss out on traveling, so I want to go travel.
Yeah.
So, I've met a few awesome, awesome women, but either they want kids or the kids are really young. And it was just like, I'm sorry, I don't want to do that to you guys.
I hear you, man. Yeah, so Victoria and I have been with Victoria for 25 years, and we have two kids, a 9-year-old, 11-year-old. Everyone always asks us, "Are you guys gonna have any more?" And we're like, "Fuck no." Yeah, it's like we have two businesses. Those are our two new kids. Like we have four kids, right? But we are just giving all of our attention, our love, our support, and we're learning from the kids that we have now. And again, bro, starting over just seems like, oh my gosh, what would I do? I'm 2 years older than you. I'm 38 years old. I feel like I'm 16. Age obviously just a number, I guess. It can be or it can't be, but
Oh
I
yeah.
feel very energetic, very strong. But starting over, just it's not something that it's in our plan for it to happen. So that's again, man, like you have these strong principles that you live by and you actually live by them. Now, you wrote this book, right?
Yes.
Tell us about the book that you wrote, and then tell us why you wrote the book as well.
Oh man. So I was sharing my story with this girl I met,
Mhm.
and she was, you have an awesome story. I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
And I told her, like, I don't mind sharing my story if it can help someone out.
Yeah.
And she goes, no, that's good. She goes, you should write a book. And I was like, ha ha ha, yeah, 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 whatever. And she goes, no, I'm serious. I was like, I thought about it, but who's gonna read it? Why am I gonna share it? I seriously didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And we talked about it, and she's like, no, you should do it. I was like, all right. So I just one day just started writing, just wrote, and eventually I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And this was around October, November. And I was like, hey, you know what I'm gonna do? She's like, what's up? I'm gonna write this, I'm gonna print it out, put into a little spiral booklet and give it to my close friends and family for Christmas. Getting into real estate, you don't make as much money right away. And this was a free gift and to my friends and family. Because, when you're older, it's hard to get someone a gift, Christmas gift. It's like, oh, what do you want? Just give me cash. Like, nah, there's more to it than, a gift.
Yeah.
So I did that. I didn't want to do it, but she pushed me to do it, which
Yeah.
was awesome. And it was literally just books that I read and experiences I went through with my relationship with Christina and raising kids at a young age
Yeah.
and just having different jobs. So I put all that together, all the lessons I learned from all of that, wrote it down. And I also went back and, hey, if I could do this over again, this is what I would have done, and this is why I would have done it. Or same thing with work. I chose this career, did that, I did all this. This is what I didn't like, but so I made this move, and this is the reason why. And yeah, that's pretty much just a little bit about my life growing up and my relationship with my parents as well. And just a little bit of everything about me that I wanted to share with other people.
That's great, man. It must have been very therapeutic for you to do that.
It was. I never really journaled, but that was for like that month and a half, that was my journaling. Just let it all out and just let it, just write everything down. And it was good because I saw where I was and the all the shit I've gone through and where I'm at now. And that's the one thing I'm blessed about having a kid so young is they made me who I am.
Uh,
When I was in high school, I was out partying, smoking my weed, working, late, coming home late, and just doing whatever the fuck I wanted to do.
yeah.
And I was responsible. I got good grades, but these children, having them at a young age, it was like, okay, now it's time to either grow up and be the man they need you to be, or just be another deadbeat dad.
Man. So okay. What's the name of the book?
It's called Memento Mori.
Uh,
So it means like remembering your death. It's an old Stoic saying, um, literally remember your death, and they have a calendar out. So everything I wrote as far as like lessons learned, it's nothing new and it's not my lessons. I just want to put that out there. It's literally books I've read and lessons that I took that helped me out through everything I've gone through. And pretty much made like a little cliff notes on the lessons learned with my life story.
wow.
So it's I don't know if you follow like Stoic daily readings or anything like that. It's very old school,
Yeah.
but tell you, you remember your death, you remember you're gonna die, and you learn to live life every day and appreciate and be present in the moment. So you don't
Beautiful. I
take
love
it for
that.
granted.
Yeah, I love that. That was be my next question is like, what is that like? Remember your death. Like, what does that mean to you? And then again, why did you choose that as the title of your book?
I chose it because like when so it kind of hit me.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I lived I didn't who I was, I just literally just let life, live for me and me not do anything with life. I was grumpy at times. I didn't enjoy it. I wasn't present with my kids. I wasn't present with Christina. I found flaws in, certain jobs where it was like, dude, chill out. You need to change your mindset. You need
Yeah.
to enjoy life a little bit more. You're going to pass away one day and you don't want to be on your deathbed like a lot of people do. That's like, fuck, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. I shouldn't have done that. And you read that a lot. You literally read that a lot from a lot of people, or you hear people not wanting to die or let go yet because they have so much resentment and regret.
Oh
And
man.
I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. My uncle passed away, I want to say beginning of 2019. And I want to say it was with COVID because 2 weeks before that was my grandmother's 85th birthday. And he told one of my other uncles, like, dude, I can't taste my food. I can't smell. But we
Oh
didn't think much of it.
yeah.
It literally, you didn't hear about COVID or anything yet. And then we got a phone call one night, like, hey, your uncle is dead. We're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So young, 51, maybe 52,
Man.
super young. Coach at Eastside High School for 20 years. That day, we had to go pick up his body, take it out of his room, help carry him down, all that. And everyone was like, I didn't know your uncle did this. I didn't know your uncle did that. I didn't know your uncle also, helped out with the news stations or, coached at Bonita High School and also at Marion. He coached me 4 years, either football or soccer. I didn't know your
Wow.
uncle, was a DJ radio on the side. I didn't know he helped special needs kids at Eastside High School. And this was coming from my uncles and my dad, his own brothers, and I saw the regret on my uncles and my father's face. And they were just like, I didn't, I only saw your uncle on holidays,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I was the only one that really called my uncle and talked to him. I love talking to people. I call all my family members, keep in touch with them. And so just seeing that regret, I was like, I don't ever want to do that. I don't ever want to one day pass away and say, hey, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. And that goes for my relationship with Christina. We might not be together, we might not be married, but I don't want to pass away and say I had a shitty relationship with my kid's mom, or I had a shitty relationship with my kids, or my relationship with my parents, wasn't great. I want to be able to live life every day and enjoy it, smile, crack jokes, and just, meet new people and just be like, hey man, it's not that bad. You
Wow,
can
that's incredible, man. No,
literally pass away tomorrow and just be like, damn, did I live life?
yeah. Again, that's huge. It does take an intense moment in our life to be able to, most of us, to be able to self-reflect in a way that's meaningful, and it shifts our mindset. So you using that to be able to shift your mindset. A lot of the time, as fatherpreneurs, we get stuck what I call the fatherpreneur roller coaster, where it seems like it's just a crazy ride and it's constantly going and it's fast paced and it's hard to be able to kind of stop in the tracks and to be able to self reflect. And if something doesn't present itself, like maybe your uncle passing away or someone passing away or some kind of event that's intense in your life, we hardly ever do that. However, seems like you've made this a practice in your life since a young age. And it's again stacking moments, obviously, with different, the birth of your kids to a death of your uncle. However, it seems like you've made self reflection a big part of your life. How has that benefited you? And again, man, 36, that's young. We can pretend like 36 with two kids, they're in high school, it's old, but you're young. In your young life, how has that benefited you?
Um, it's not easy.
Yeah.
I can tell you that it's not easy. A lot of people ask me the same question. How do you do it? How
Mm.
do you do it with two kids, working full-time real estate agent, part-time, part-time job, and I coach part-time, also high school football. So just having the right mindset allows me to keep going.
Yeah.
And it's literally a choice.
Yeah.
It's a choice. I can stay home, watch TV, be on my phone, and just waste my life, or I can go out there and just live life and do what I need to do. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, how else to put it. It's you just got to do it. You got to show up and you got to put in the work. So having that mindset allows me to understand, like, hey, you have a choice. You can do A, B, or C, or you cannot do A, B, or C. And A, B, and C will, you know, allow you to, reach your goals and your dreams, and have this vision of what life I want, have this vision of what life should be for me. And I just got to put in the work.
What's the biggest challenge in your life right now?
The biggest challenge, building my real estate career and trying to balance the family, if I'm going to date,
Yeah.
coaching, and just making sure I don't overdo it.
Gotcha.
That that's the biggest challenge, just making sure I can continue to go without burning myself out.
Beautiful, man. What's your mission in life
Oh man.
as of right now? Right.
Right now it's wherever I meet, I just want to be able to somehow make a positive impact and just touch your life and be able to be like, what do you do? How do you do it? And why do you do it? I enjoy connecting with people. I enjoy talking to people. And I don't want to say I want people to live the way my life should be. How I figure it out works for me. But I want to be able to help people figure out their life and be able to figure out, like, hey, you get up at 3:30, 4 days a week to go to the gym. Why do you do it? How do you do it?
Yeah.
And I explained to them, hey, I didn't start, day one. Like it took some time, so I like to share that with people or give them examples, tell them my story, and it inspires people. I met another agent at a networking event, young kid, 25 years old, super cool kid. He goes, man, I want a family one day. I give you props. You're a single dad, you coach, you have a part-time job, you still get up at 3:45, you go to the gym religiously, you go hike, you host open houses on the weekend, you hang out with your kids, you make it to your son's football game. He's like, how do you do it? I'm like, I literally take out the bullshit. I hang out with friends that, make me better, add value to my life. And I focus on, my vision, my goal, my dream. And along the way, whoever, I meet, I want to help them as well.
Beautiful. So you have a strategy that works for you.
Correct.
That's awesome, man. So everything you were just saying right now leads to this last question, right? Um, what wisdom, right? Like we were saying at the beginning of the podcast, is like we're starving for wisdom right now in this time of our life. Is what wisdom can you share with the fatherpreneur out there listening?
Um, so I have a few things to share.
Yeah.
Number one, if you have a family and kids, well, that's what we're here talking about.
Yeah.
Put your significant other first.
Hmm.
You guys have to be on the same page. If you don't have a strong foundation, build that strong foundation. It is needed. It works. It helps out so much. Because with that strong foundation, you're going to be focused too much on your business and not focused on your family. And you need to create that balance of, hey, I need, these nights are my date nights with my wife. These nights are my family nights. Those need to be there and super important, because in the end, those are going to be literally your number one support. Your kids are going to be watching you and learning from what you do. And if they just see a father that always works, and has no time for their children, they're going to have a lot of resentment. And that's one thing you don't want. Your wife, if you don't love your wife, someone else will. Someone else will.
Yeah.
And that's what you don't want. You want your wife to support you, to add value to your life, and in return, your business that you're growing, it's going to thrive. You have that strong foundation, you're going to thrive. And same thing with your business, build that strong foundation. Don't just eyeball it, wing it, go with the flow. Because like anything else, if you don't have a strong foundation, it's not going to work.
Beautiful, man. John, thank you so much for your time and your wisdom, man. This was a great conversation I had with you, man. I definitely look forward. Oh yeah, hold on. Your book. How can we get that? How can we share that? What's needed? Again, man, everyone out there, they need to read this book. How can they get a hold of it?
You guys can email me. I'll email you a copy. So just email me at JAB as in boy, LAS 86 at gmail.com. And I will gladly email you guys a copy. You guys can shoot me a text as well, or reach out, to Luke, and I'll print you guys out a copy and send it to you.
Beautiful, John. Yeah, we'll definitely on this link. We'll put the link, your website, all that good stuff. I'm sorry, your Gmail, all that good stuff on how to get in contact with you. Outside of that, how do people get in touch with you?
So Instagram.
That's
You
right.
can do Instagram. You can text me. So my Instagram is bearded Blas, bearded_Blas.
There you go.
I love my beard. I literally just trimmed it a few days ago. But yeah, it used to be really big. Feel free to call me, text me. I have no problem, calling or texting. Phone number is 619-616-0205.
John, you're the man, dude. Thank you so much, brother. I look forward just to see, man, get to know you even more and just to see where you're going. But again, thank you so much for your wisdom and your time, John.
Awesome. No, I appreciate it. Anyone needs help, anyone has any questions, feel free, reach out. Have no
Beautiful.
problem.
Thank you, brother.
Right on. Have a good one.